Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Clean Code. I'm me, you are you, and this problem is from the city of Los Angeles, and they would very much like us to find the lowest score for each facility in Hollywood Boulevard. And they would very much like if we could do it in Pyspark. Additionally, they need us to output the low scores along with the corresponding facility name, and then they want us to order the result based on the lowest score in descending order and the facility names in ascending order. So a little bit of a wrinkle. The first time we've seen such a big wrinkle. Additionally, the city of Los Angeles says we channel big data energy, and this is the most amount of columns I have ever seen in a problem like this before. So let's go ahead, jump into it. Let's take a quick peek at our data. And here we can see in the facility address is most likely where this Hollywood Boulevard is going to be. Everything else looks like what you would need in a health inspector's office, but oh boy, is there a lot of data. Let's go ahead and jump over to the notebook and begin to break this problem down. I will say, this question to me feels very much like something you are going to be asked to do as like the first stage of a take-home project. That's the vibe this is giving me. I can't confirm that. I don't know anybody that works at the city of Los Angeles. But based on all the problems we've done here so far at Clean Code, that's just what it feels like. All right, I will see you in the notebook. All right, here we are in our handy dandy notebook. And while computationally this problem is not super complex, there are a ton of columns to use. So we need to make sure that we are pulling the right kind of data to make sure that our end business user is getting an effective solution. So we want the lowest score for each facility in Hollywood Boulevard, and then we need the result and the facility name, and then we also need to order by lowest score in the descending order and the facility name in the ascending order. And that's something that we're going to have to take special care to make sure we can satisfy both of those conditions. Something else we're really going to have to take care for is to make sure we pull the right data, especially with so much of it. It's very plentiful. But we do know we need score, not grade. I think that's like the first thing they're going to try and skip you up on. And then we also need the facility name, and we're going to take the facility address. I think there's kind of a couple of different ways to solve this problem. I think we can do it with only these three columns. Moving along to our problem plan, I think the steps are as follows. 1, we need to filter and extract for Hollywood Boulevard. I'll abbreviate that. Then we need to find the lowest scores. Once we have the lowest scores, we need to satisfy conditional 1 and conditional 2, which is score, low down to high, and then name, which is going to be high or A down to low. That's what we have to be doing to solve this problem. Okay, but then the question is, how do we actually go ahead and attack this problem? I think that this is where the helper function stuff really starts to shine. We're going to take advantage of SQL functionality. So, SQL as F or our Pyspark code. And then we're going to have to use the filter. And then I think what we can do is inside the filter, use a .like to kind of do some of that. Ooh, let me clean this up a little bit for you guys. We can use a .like to then do the % Hollywood Boulevard to extract that text. I think that is probably like the hurdle step. If you can figure out how to extract the text, I think the rest of the problem then becomes fairly self-explanatory to then accomplish. So that's the hard step, I think, is to extract the Hollywood Boulevard. And then I think we can do a group by, and I'm gonna denote that in a different color because we're working with a different set of data. And then I think we can do an aggregation, and I think we're going to use min as our aggregation. And then we already have that score column. So that's how I kind of think we should proceed in a problem like this. But let's just take a moment and talk ourselves through, if we didn't know how to do this, how could we find the answer? I think it's 100% acceptable in an interview to say, listen, I don't know, I really want to make a good a good first impression here. This is what I would do to solve it. I know I need to find some sort of text matching. I'm pretty confident there is a built-in SQL function for that. I don't have it off the top of my head. And if you're lucky, maybe the interviewer says, yep, you're exactly right. It's actually called .like. And if not, maybe you say, I would go look at the documentation to make sure I'm doing it correctly. And then hope that you get to go look at the documentation to go do it correctly. Okay, I think we have our problem sorted out. I think we have found the conditional steps we need here. I think we have found the datas we need there. And I think we understand what functions we're going to have to be using to solve this problem. Let's go ahead now and jump back over into the code editor and see if we can't find a solution. All right, rubber meets the road time. Let's go ahead and code up our solution. We know we're going to need that SQL functionality in Pyspark. Let's go ahead and call that in. And then I don't think we need to degregate or set multiple columns as we start manipulating this data. So let's keep the same data frame name and we're just going to override it. Our first step is going to be filtering because we need to get rid of everything that is not Hollywood Boulevard. And how we're going to do that is by filtering that address column that we had, facility address, and then we're going to use the .like and then or use text matching. So anything like Hollywood Boulevard. Now the thing is, things that are like Hollywood Boulevard are just Hollywood Boulevard. So it's a little cheeky way to use that functionality. Once we have everything by Hollywood Boulevard, we're going to then chain the group by. So it's going to take all the column facility addresses, give us only the ones in Hollywood Boulevard. Once it's done that subset step, the next step, the .group by, is going to put everything together by facility name. And then what we are going to do is aggregate by score. And we're going to set scores minimum. Now group by is going to do this alphabetically. So A through Z. And then the group by min score is going to go lowest to highest. So that's how we satisfy those two operational considerations for our code. I'm going to go ahead and click run code. We see that our code has worked. I had to add in the .pandas. I always forget to do that in Scratch. And then if we go ahead and see if our solution works, we have a sub 1 second answer, which makes us all feel very good. Well, on behalf of Clean Code, thank you so much for sticking with us here to the end, and truly hope that these interview prep questions and these answer breakdowns are helping you in your journey. If you'd like to stick around, feel free to do so. I'm sure another video will be recommended to you here soon. Until next time, see ya.